What's up, my West Coast swing friend? In this video, we're going to cover the 4 basic whip patterns, the 4 8-count patterns you need to know for West Coast swing so you can develop confidence, look great on the dance floor. My name is
Brian Beat.
And this is Miss Megan. Now, in beginner class, you might have only heard that there is 1 basic 8-count pattern, but we're going to show you 3 others that you're going to need as you move into intermediate. But before we get started, if you have yet to be to our website or go to our website, westcoastswingonline.com, I'll leave a link here. Enter your email address on the first page. We'll give you a bunch of free videos, some music practice lists, and a bunch of tips and tricks to help you get started in West Coast swing. Back to our whip. So the basic whip is 8 counts. 1, 2, 3, and 4 of 5, 6, 7, and 8. But we're going to cover the footwork, but there's also a reverse whip that's going to be helpful to know. And then if you know how to do an inside and outside turn out of those whips, you're going to be able to walk into, there's your inside turn, you're going to be able to walk into any intermediate class and be comfortable because everything's going to be based off of one of these patterns. But let's talk about the basic whip footwork for the leaders. On 1, 2, I have 2 options. I can step back and together, or I can step back and cross. Either one works, back and cross for the first 2 counts. I put my hand up here to catch Megan. 1, 2, I dance together, together, and across the slot to the other side for count 4. I step to the side in the slot and anchor step. If I give that numbers, then we'll talk about Megan's footwork. 1, 2, 3, and 4 of 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now for Megan's footwork, I'm going to put her on this side so you can see her. I'll do my footwork behind.
All right, followers, we have forward, turn, back. Now we have back, together, forward, turn, back, and then triple step. If we had counts, we have 1, turn, 2, back, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Now to lead this, I'm going to put Megan on the other side so you can see just a little bit better. Leaders, I want to take this hand slightly diagonal with connection. The second we get there, we still need that connection. I'm going to kind of hook it in the shape of a J to get her to turn around backwards, right? As I'm doing that, I'm going to raise this hand. 1, 2. Megan is going to put that hand up on my shoulder. Can you talk about that real quick?
Yeah, so as soon as I start to feel this lead, I typically keep my arms in this region to begin with, but I'm going to lift it up and over onto the leader's bicep.
So now, leaders, I have to allow my arms to disconnect. What I mean by that is we do 3 and 4 if we both do our footwork. 3 and 4. My arms have to allow her to go back so she doesn't feel like she gets clotheslined. So I catch her on 1, 2, I send her back 3, and I step across 4. Now I take my right hand, I look to my right for 5, 6, 7, and 8. So Megan's job is to do what, Megan?
Stay connected.
Stick to this hand for 3 and. As we step across in 4, she's still sticking to my right hand. 5, 6. Now I catch her on this arm. 7 and 8, right? And at this point, you probably know your anchor step. That's your last triple step that stays in place. So that's your basic whip. 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. But there's a couple variations you'll want to know. A whip with an inside turn. So when I get to count 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4, if she's connected to my right hand, I start to put this up and turn so I can see my watch. Now I put this over her head for 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's look at it one more time on this side. 1, 2, 3, and lift. By count 4, I should be able to see my watch. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's look at it on the other side. Actually, Megan, why don't you do your footwork for us?
All right, so followers, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, instead of turning on 5, we're going to step forward. Now we turn over our left shoulder for 6, and then we have 7 and 8.
And this was the first like non-super basic pattern I ever learned. I liked it. It's very easy to lead. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Some of the common problems. Once I get this hand up, I want to step sideways. See all this space? I leave my elbow up. This leaves room for Megan to go through for count 6, 7, and 8. Let's do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5 over 6, 7, and 8. So that's move number 2. If there's an inside turn, there must be
an
outside turn. So that one looks like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4 of 5, 6, 7, and 8. So same idea on count 4 is where it changes and the footwork's different, for the follower at least. 3, and 4. This time, instead of looking at my watch inside, I'm gonna go this way to you. Instead of putting my hand inside, I wanna put my fingers outside. That's count 4. Now I slowly go overhead for 5, for 6, 7, and 8. If I look at that one from the other side, then we'll have Megan do her footwork. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hands on the inside, fingers going to the outside. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Can you talk about your footwork, please? Let's go this way so it's consistent.
Yes. Followers, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Count 5's the same. Now we're going to turn for count 6 and then around for 7 and 8.
Cool. So all of these whips are going to have some principles that are the same. What are the principles? On 1, 2, I don't want to go this way and clothesline Megan. So I said at the top of the video I have 2 options. I can go back and cross. I can go back and together. Both are valid as long as I don't cut Megan off. So that's rule number 1. For the followers, you want to turn around in front of the leaders. I don't want Megan past me at this point because if she goes back together forward, we're gonna run out of room. So small steps for the followers. 1, 2, 3, and 4. On 4, for all the patterns, you want to be stuck back in this hand. Now Megan's on the right foot, but she's kind of in between feet there so she can continue to stay stuck to this hand. Why is that important? Well, because when I do my inside turn version, if she just steps mindlessly at me, right, now there's a lot less room to lead that move. If she stays stuck to my hand, 2, 3, and 4, and she's in slight delay, look at all this room I have, right? It also, as the follower, lets you read if this hand is going up here, she's in my right hand, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There's your outside turn. Here's your last one. There's a couple variations of that. It's called the reverse whip because it turns the opposite way of a regular whip. This is also a cool pattern. Let's do it from the other side because you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Same footwork for the leaders, the hold on time. Followers, you have different footwork. Megan, can you talk about the different footwork?
Yes, followers, we have forward, forward. Now we're turning over our left shoulder for turn and then step together. And then from here on out is the same footwork. We step forward for count 4. We turn for count 5, 6, and then 7 and 8.
Can you do that again, please?
Yes, I can. So we have 1, 2, turning, 3, and forward 4, turn for 5, step for 6, 7, and 8.
So leaders, this one is a little trickier to lead because the normal whip, I have to master that J lead. This one's completely different. I'm gonna take my footwork out of it. On 1, on 2, I need to bring her slightly towards me. So this hand goes slightly away, maybe like an inch, so I can pull this across her face and pick up her back, right? So we both need to maintain that connection, right? On 1, slightly towards me 2. So see how Megan, as I slide that hand out, she takes a forward step on the left foot. Now I cut this hand across. I'm gonna look at my watch, cut it across 5, 6, 7, and 8. I want you to see it this way to see what I do with this hand. We're gonna freeze on 2. 1, 2, slightly towards me. The second I can see her spine on 3 and, I wanna put my fingers almost in her spine and let it collapse to this left shoulder of hers, right? This is when I step across on 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So followers, you have to know the reverse whip footwork, otherwise it's gonna be really hard to follow the reverse whip. Leaders, as long as she knows the reverse whip footwork, my hand leading that is gonna help. Then I use the other hand to pick her back up and I can guide her through. If you wanna get fancy, you can take, let me lead the reverse whip correctly. I can take this reverse whip and lead an inside turn out of it. I can take this reverse whip and lead an outside turn out of it. Now, if you want to see 11 different whips that you can do for West Coast Swing, now that you know those 8 count basics, you'll want to watch this video over here. And like I said before, if you haven't been to our website, I'll give you a link right here. Go to westcoastswingonline.com, enter your email address on the first page. We will send you a bunch of free stuff, music lists, helpful tips, and we send out a free email once a week with a move that you can learn. We call it our Move of the Week. There's almost 20,000 people that get it all around the world, so you want to sign up for that. Plus, you'll have direct email access to us. We'll see you on the dance floor.